is Ben, and welcome to my video. I really appreciate you being here, guys. So today we're going to be checking out my new Gibson Les Paul Standard 60s. We're going to be reviewing it, checking out some tones, and more specifically, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, moving from a variety of Epiphones into Gibson, and whether or not I think it was worth it. So hopefully it'll help some of you guys out there if you've been kind of teeter-tottering on the idea of upgrading to an American-made Gibson. I want to help you guys to rationalize whether or not it's a good decision. Okay, that's it. So thanks so much. Let's jump straight into things. Alright guys, so I want to talk housekeeping, kind of get a few items out of the way so we can get to the fun stuff, the playing demo. So guys, we're going to talk specs very quickly, we're going to talk QC, and we're going to talk my initial reactions. So I'm going to breeze through the specs, guys. We have a, starting on the back, non-weight relieved, full thickness, one-piece mahogany body. Heavy guitar, guys, probably about 9.5, 10 pounds, give or take. So not for everybody. Personally, I like that. Feels substantial, doesn't feel toy-like, but again, to each their own. Not everybody's going to get along with that, so something to be mindful of. It's a mahogany neck as well. It's a set neck, glued in. It's not bolt-on, and it's a slim taper 60 style neck. So to me, a really happy medium. It's nice and fast, not too kind of beefy like the 50s Gibson necks that you'd see, but there's still enough kind of meat to it that you don't cramp out when you're doing chords and that sort of things. For tuners, we got Grover Rotomatic, so excellent hardware, guys. You know, it would be nice at this price if they were locking, but this is, again, 60 specs, so they're kind of trying to stay true to the era. Onto the front here, guys, we have a beautiful AA flame maple top. Hopefully you guys can see some of the figuring in that wood, because it is just stunning. Two-piece maple top, guys, and we have an ABR bridge. We have Bruce Bucker pickups, which I want to talk about in the tone section, because I really like these pickups. On the inside, guys, we have full-size pots. I believe they're orange drop capacitors, all hand-wired, and beautifully done here, guys. No QC issues as far as the internal wiring goes. And now, guys, on the neck here, we got a beautiful piece of rosewood. Nice dark piece of rosewood. It's not too dry. A lot of people have kind of complained about their 50s and 60s coming with the dry fretboard. Not on my end, so maybe I'm lucky there, but it's beautiful. And we got 22 medium jumbo frets here, guys. Acrylic inlays. They're not the real mother of pearl, unfortunately, but we do have the mother of pearl on the Gibson logo up here. We have a Graphtec nut to go along with it, and we have a nitro lacquer finish. So I think those are the important specs here, guys. And you know, kind of talk my initial reactions. So first things first, you know, the first time I opened up the case on this bad boy and I saw that top, I was floored. You know, again, I've kind of used, as far as Les Pauls go, I'm not just a rock guy, I'm a big metal fan as well. So I've had tons of metal guitars in the past, but as far as Les Pauls go, you know, I've always had Epiphones, and all my guitars in the past have always been imports. So I've never actually had a real full thickness maple cap. Really gives the guitar its own kind of unique character and flavor. And it's not just the flames going this way, but there's a lot of beautiful kind of mineral streaks and wood grain moving this way as well. So really, really gorgeous. And even in the rosewood fretboard here, you know, you have some nice, it's a nice dark piece of rosewood, which I love. You know, my favorite species of fretboard wood is ebony, so it's nice when a rosewood is kind of dark like that. But it also has some nice red streaks moving up the fretboard as well, so again, giving it some unique flavor and character. Now I want to talk quickly about the tuning stability and about the fretwork here. So first of all, tuning stability, no issues on my end, guys. I know a lot of people kind of talk about there being a design flaw with the Gibson Les Paul. The angle of where these strings come through and surpass the nut and extend out to the tuning keys. Generally speaking, a better design is you want it to be very, very straight, so your string isn't kind of getting caught in the nut or anything like that. But for me, you know, I've never had any tuning issues, so I could just be lucky. I also, you know, I'm pretty meticulous about how I tune my instruments. First of all, I don't do a ton of winds around the posts if they're not locking. And I also, you know, you make sure you use some graphite to lubricate the nut there. Even if it's self-lubricating, it helps. And, you know, stretch out your strings when you tune. As long as I can get the strings to kind of settle into place, then I have no tuning issues whatsoever. So very, very happy with that, guys. But as far as playability goes, you know, this thing, you know, again, not everybody kind of gets along with that heavy Gibson, you know, single cut body shape. But I like it personally. But what I want to talk more about is the fretwork here, guys. So again, Gibson lists these as medium jumbo. You know, I got to be honest, these are a little bit shorter and flatter than I'm used to for medium jumbo. Usually the medium jumbos I play on are taller and rounder. So it was a little bit of a shock to the senses. It took me a minute to kind of get used to that, but I did get used to it very, very quickly. And what I have to say here, guys, is the fretwork is absolutely impeccable. Like the best fretwork I've ever touched on any guitar ever. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think Gibson plex all of these Les Pauls that leave their warehouse. Can't say enough good things. It's like playing on glass. You know, I have an LTD with stainless steel frets, and this is just as smooth, if not smoother, I would say. As far as QC goes, guys, this is excellent condition. I can be nitpicky. There are a couple of areas where I would say the finish wasn't perfect. Like if you look right in here, guys, there's a little blemish in the finish on the actual binding. You know, you have to be looking with a fine-tooth comb to notice that. Actually, one other issue I would say that was definitely a factory issue here. On the side of the fretboard here, you guys can see some lacquer that wasn't properly scraped off, so it looks almost like the nut broke and they glued it back together, which I know is not the case here. That's just lacquer. So very minor stuff, guys. And you know, I'll be the first to say that with the Gibson pricing, you know, the premium that they put on their guitars, I think these guitars should be leaving the factory spotless. I don't think there should be any issues whatsoever. But these are very minor issues, and this is still a very, very high quality instrument. And boy, let's hear some tones. I'm talking way too much here. Let's get into the fun part of the video here, guys. All right, guys. So let's start with some cleans here. And the boring stuff anyway, so we'll get that out of the way, right? Start in the neck position here, guys. And for this one, we're using an amp sim called Amped Arc from ML Sound Labs. ML Sound Labs makes some pretty good stuff. Good amp sims and some really good IRs. In any case, let's, again, we're going to start in the neck position. Let's see how she sounds. And first things first, I hadn't tuned this thing since, I don't know, yesterday, the day before. So I said earlier, no tuning issues. And usually when I pick it up, it's in tune. So I just played the first chord of the day. And lo and behold, she's in tune. So that's awesome. Okay, so again, we're in the neck position, guys. We're just going to noodle around a bit, see how she sounds. I mean, some nice warm deep tones from that, you know. Let's check out the middle position. Check out the bridge. Let's move on to some crunch. So we're going to switch out the amp sims. We're going to move on over to a really awesome 5150 emulation. I know there's like a gazillion of them out there, but I like this one a lot, man. This one's awesome. It's called Amcraft 1992 from Gas Rock. So let's check it out. We're going to start in we'll start in the neck again, and then work our way over to the bridge. So let's get into it. bridge. Fun little riff. Let's hear that in the lead channel. All right, so we're in the lead channel here, guys. We're just gonna let it rip. I forgot I was recording there. Let's move on to the middle position here, guys. Jesus. I'm going to roll back the neck just a little bit, so we get a little bit more of the crunch coming from the bridge, but not lose any of that kind of girth coming from the neck here. So. All right, let's move her all the way to the neck there. Turn the volume back up. All right. See, that's what I love about the Les Paul. So versatile. You know, you can sound just play some beautiful, you know, serene cleans. You can do some nice rock and crunch, and you can just blow people's heads off with the leads. So again, you know, I love these burst buckers. I know they're not for everybody, and I get it, but I really think they can do anything. At least to my ears. I mean, I know the kind of lead that you get there, the kind of crunch, the kind of lead that you get, it is a little dirtier, right? Like a lot of the more kind of modern high end, high output pickups that you get these days. Sorry, I smoked a little weed in between takes there. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So I'm having trouble keeping my train of thought now. Jesus. All right, I just have to stop. They're great pickups. How about that? if you made it this far in the video, thank you. I really appreciate it. So let's try to wrap things up here, guys, with my final thoughts, and try to answer the question of the day: is this thing worth it or not? So I think I've already alluded to it in the video. To me, yeah, I'd say this is worth it for me personally, but I have to stress that is a personal, that's a personal assessment, guys. So the reality is, if we're looking for more of a kind of a generic yes or no, that's a lot harder for me to, that's a lot harder for me to say yes. And let's talk about why, guys. The price markup. We're talking, 4 times what you're going to spend on a Gibson, or sorry, on an Epiphone. Let's take a look here at a couple of my Epiphones. So, guys, we have a custom here. This is a great instrument, guys. I have nothing bad to say about this. For the price that I paid, I think the majority of people are going to be very, very happy with an Epiphone guitar like this. And I actually like this one even more. This is my Epiphone Modern, and this is an awesome instrument, guys. I really, really like this thing. I think it sounds 90% as good as my Gibson, and it feels 90% as good as my Gibson. So, when we're talking about, again, these are arbitrary numbers, guys, but when we're talking about, roughly a 10-15% increase in terms of playability and in terms of sound quality or tone, it's obviously not in line with the 3 to 4 times increase in price. So it's hard for me to say that the value is there. However, that is also a very linear way of thinking, because when we talk about value, we also have to talk about things like longevity. There's no question in my mind, this is a lifetime guitar. This is something that's going to age beautifully and something that I can pass down to my children. So this is designed to last generations. I don't think the Epiphones are, guys. Here's the brutal truth about the Epiphones. They're very, very low grade, cheap woods. Now, I don't want to get into an issue about tone wood debate. That's not really my point. My point is build quality matters. And of course, this looks a lot better. These high quality woods look better and they feel better, and that goes so far. And to top that off, guys, this is the finish. This is a nitro lacquer finish, and those are drenched in polyurethane. And they're part of the reason why they're drenched in that plasticky polyurethane is because they are cheap wood. So you're trying to protect the wood with a very thick coat of plasticky polyurethane, and it doesn't feel good, guys. It doesn't feel good. To me, it doesn't look good. It looks like plastic. It feels like plastic. This feels like wood with a finish on it. That's what it feels like to me. And also is the smell, guys. I know that's a weird thing to say, but that nitro smells awesome. It really does. And our senses can be triggers, right? And when you have a positive association with the smell, it's going to, in this case, the guitar, every time you open up that case, that smell hits you, and you're having a good experience playing this guitar, that's going to increase the bond. I think that's a big reason why people love their Gibsons so much. I don't hear a lot of people kind of talking about that, but yeah, it's something to consider, guys. So, the reality is I could take one of those Epiphones. I could throw in new electronics. I could upgrade the tuners. I could upgrade the bridge here. And I'm going to have an instrument that's very, very close to this in terms of quality and in terms of value. But at the same time, guys, like, when I do that, I'm putting more money into the instrument. And now I'm out my time as well. And these are things to consider when you look at whether or not you want to upgrade an Epiphone or just pay the premium for a Gibson. And when you upgrade the Epiphone, there are things that you cannot change. That finish, if you can theoretically change the poly finish, but that is a huge job. So again, more money, more time that you're pumping into it. And the woods you can't change. The wood is the basis of the instrument. And a lot of times, I've seen people redo the finish on their Epiphone customs, and it was like 7 pieces of wood glued together. So again, that craftsmanship, guys, the quality of the materials and the craftsmanship far surpasses on this. And the other thing you can't change is the headstock. I know that is, kind of a vain thing to say, but Gibson can charge a premium because they've created a value association with their brand. Now, again, QC issues aside, I'll be the first to say a brand like Gibson has no excuse for the QC issues that we've seen in the past. But when they get it right, they really do get it right. And these are just amazing instruments that are going to, you're going to have a lifeline bond with this thing. And I haven't felt that with my Epiphones. They do feel more like factory guitars, those factories that are just trying to pump out numbers. Whereas this, again, this is not a custom shop. It is a production model. But it does feel like there was more care put into this. To me, I'm willing to pay that premium if I have the money. But guys, I'm lucky to be able to afford this. And that's the other thing I want to say. Like those Epiphones, 90% of people are going to be very, very happy with those guitars. Okay, so I want to make that very clear. Nobody has to spend $3,000 to $4,000 on an instrument to get a good sounding, good playing instrument that they're going to love. You just don't need to. Okay, so a guitar like this is for the avid enthusiast, someone like myself. I've been playing all my life, guys. And I finally at a point in my life where I could afford it. And to me, I told myself, listen, that's the other factor to consider is resale value, guys. Gibsons hold their value very well, and that was one of the major reasons why I justified it in the first place, just parting the money for this thing, because I knew if I didn't like it, I could easily just flip it back on the used market and get my money back. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and again, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you, really appreciate it. Again, like, comment, subscribe, I guess, all that stuff, and maybe we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.